some kind of regulation going forward. I mean, there must be some kind of silver lining from this very dark cloud. There must be some improvement to ensure this never happens again. And finally, on the front page, teen among latest held under the SOE orders. And, you know, we asked the question, what's going on with the guardians and the parents of, again, we don't know. I mean, I don't know the backstory, but for a child to be held under the SOE, that means there would have been some kind of case being, you know, they don't just hold people like that, you know. They're from what I understand, talking to security experts, there's a file that's built, they're looking on, they're monitoring your action, and then they take their particular position to hold you. And of course, he's in YTC, he's underage, but a serious concern. This is like, what, the second young person in the last couple of weeks being held with the SOE. So, cause for serious concern, and we have to obviously keep our eyes on the youngsters. We had to the back page, some volleyball. No, you mean volleyball. I'm telling you, boy, like I still sleeping. This is netball. Sorry, folks. Netball action. Grenada goal attack. They're, you know, in full swing. This, of course, tournament is happening in St. Augustine, right? UE Spec. And, well, Grenada won this one. So, well done to all the netballers. Clearly, still very much a popular sport. I'm seeing folks in the stands, which I'm happy to see. All right, and Django's double delivers victory. Oh, we're looking good with the bat in the 4-day tournament. Yes, I was able to plug in and see that the Red Force doing some damage. We were able to blow down the Hurricanes. As it says here in the sports page, Red Force crushes Hurricanes, Happy Eagles in sight of victory. All that and more via our sport page. Let's see what's happening on the brief. And via the brief, some more cricket action. Beachgoers enjoy a game of cricket at the Manzanilla Beach on Sunday, but right there, you're seeing all the seaweed there. Can you imagine the smell? But it doesn't stop a good game of cricket. Once you have space, 3 branches to make a wicket, as you can see, a bat and a ball, we say, bring it on. Start bowling. All right, and TNT Regiment mark a milestone with 2 promotions. That and more inside today's Guardian. That's right. We get into a very important discussion. Kevin Ramnarayan, attorney at law and energy expert. He joins me to treat with energy developments and the extended Strait of Hormuz blockade and the Manatee project. A couple of different discussions via the energy sector. Up next with Kevin Ramnarayan.
One-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance, but we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza in Devonshire Corners. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Can you do this?
Looking for the ultimate gaming experience? Welcome to Phase 22 Gaming Lounge, where gamers of all ages come to play, compete, and have fun. Dive into your favorite games on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or race on our high-tech racing rigs. And experience the thrill of VR with PlayStation and Meta Quest. Our lounge is safe, comfortable, and perfect for everyone. When you're done, check out the latest gaming systems, accessories, and even Samsung and Apple phones. Visit us on the 2nd floor of Gulf City Mall or call 786-2404 to book your gaming session today.
Don't miss the gripping drama Cabo, Sundays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
I got a bone to pick with you. Ladies, I'm talking about that 90-day thing.
Well, how that's bothering you?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you how it's bothering me. I figure like this, ladies, if you're in your 20s, wait 90 days. If you're in your 30s, wait 60 days. If you're in your 40s, wait 30 days. But if you're over 50, jump on it.
Attorney at law and energy expert Kevin Ramnarayan joins me. Always a joy to touch base with you, Mr. Ramnarayan. We get into some really deep discussions, and I know your knowledge on what's happening via the energy sector here at home and abroad informs not only myself but the listening and viewing audience. Great to see you, Kevin. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm watching the developments out of the Middle East, and it's still very much that big talking point, the Strait of Hormuz. And now with the blockade, from what I'm seeing here, the numbers are showing we might be in for a major increase. Oil prices, again, being from what we've seen since Monday, they've surged more than 7% back to $100 a barrel. And many anticipate, because you're already seeing in real time where they're putting some extra costs. I saw Carl putting an extra cost on the gas surcharge and all that. How soon do you feel we'll have to really, or at least how soon do you think the impact of all of this will start to hit us directly in the pocket?
All right, just to give you the latest oil prices are about $96 per barrel for Brent. The Brent oil and the West Texas Intermediate is $92 a barrel. That's Bloomberg as of a few seconds ago. And
on a regular day, what's your normal price?
Well, prior to the war, we were in the low 60s. Prior to the war started in the early part of March. We were in the low 60s, and all the projections were for oil prices to trend even lower in 2026. Most of the projections were for oil prices to go into the mid to high 50s in 2026. Of course, that has been totally capsized by what's happening in Iran in the last 5 or 6 weeks, with this Straits of Hormuz and the bombing and so on of Iran. So we are, as you pointed out there, one of the biggest fallouts from what is happening. And the thing is, we take for granted the role energy plays in our life. I was talking to a gentleman who goes up the islands regularly with his yacht, and he was telling me before he leaves Trinidad, he makes sure and he stocks up on ice, because the price for ice up the islands, of course, is exponentially higher than what it is in Trinidad. We pay, $10 for a bag of ice in Trinidad, right? Yeah, on a regular day, yeah. On a regular day. Of course, a lot of the costs behind producing that bag of ice in Trinidad is electricity. And electricity in Trinidad, of course, comes from natural gas. In the other islands of the region, their electricity comes largely from fuel oil and diesel, which are directly, which are refined products from refining of crude oil. And one of the things that the Middle East is, apart from being a major oil producing center of the world, the Middle East is also a major refining center of the world. 11% of the world's refining capacity is in the Middle East. And one of the largest refineries in the world is in Saudi Arabia, the Ras Tanura refinery, which was hit by Iranian missiles and so on. So there's an impact too on refined products, the gasoline. So the Middle East produces a lot of gasoline because of the quality of their crude. When they refine their they have high quality crude, what they call light sweet crude. When they refine that crude, they get gasoline, they get kerosene, and kerosene is really what we call jet fuel. So what we call pitch oil in Trinidad is really jet fuel. So what we're seeing now is, I just did a quick search of airlines and so on around the world. The entire world of aviation is under stress. So of course we know Cal is going to be seeing much higher prices for jet fuel. So expect that the price of your ticket to go to Miami and to go to Guyana and to go to London and so on will go up. It was already pretty expensive after COVID. Prices of tickets didn't really come down after COVID. So airline transport is going to be affected. Of course, the Trinidad and Tobago, we have price control at the pump for our gasolines and diesels. We have a system of a subsidy in place since 1974. It would mean that the subsidy on fuel in Trinidad and Tobago is going to increase. People usually think that high oil prices is a good thing for Trinidad, and by and large it is. But you must remember we now import fuel. So Paria is going to have to find more US dollars and spend more US dollars to import fuel to supply the country. So there are ripple effects all over the world. Of course, the Middle East is also a major center for not just oil production and refining, but also a major center for liquefied natural gas production. About 20% of the world's LNG comes out of Qatar, and their multi-train facility in a place called Ras Laffan was also hit, and a few of the trains have been damaged and taken out of commission. So there's also an impact on the LNG industry. So the question is, how long is all this going to last for? And the answer is nobody knows. What we read, the most recent development is that the Iranians and the Americans have agreed to a second rounds of talks. The first rounds of talks in Pakistan, which was, I would say, mediated by Pakistan or facilitated by Pakistan, that fell apart on the weekend. This is when Vice President Vance went across to Pakistan. So now there's a second round of talk. The Americans are saying that they are going to impose a blockade on the Straits of Hormuz, meaning that Iranian tankers carrying crude oil from Iran, of course, they would allow their tankers to leave. The Americans are going to block those tankers now from exiting.
But how's that going to work? Because isn't Iran, based on their geography and that geographical advantage, they are the ones who are putting out initial block. So I'm trying to figure out, the US is going to block. So they are
block
the block.
So they want to block the block. So what this is that the Iranians could, of course, allow their tankers carrying their crude oil to leave unimpeded and safely and so on through the Straits of Hormuz. But the tankers that were at risk of being hit, at risk of mines and so on, were the tankers that were taking the crude oil from places like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates and so on. So now the Americans are trying to cut off that economic lifeline which Iran has, which is their sale of crude mainly to Asia. And I want to make the point that the biggest impact of what is happening here, it's obviously impacting you and I. And I just explained that it's going to impact the price of the airline ticket, it's going to impact the government subsidy. So Minister Tanku is going to have to find more money to subsidize fuel, and he already has a challenging situation with cash flow and so on. It's going to get more challenging because he has to find that subsidy is going to come back to a significant figure. But the ripple effects are all over the world, and one of the places in the world that is disproportionately impacted is China and India and Japan and the Philippines and Indonesia and Asia in the main, because of the proximity of those countries I just mentioned to the Middle East. They get most of their crude oil from the Middle East. So what has been happening now, you see, everything is interconnected. what has been happening is that the IEA, the International Energy Agency, is warning of what they call demand destruction, meaning that because of the expensive price of fuel, people are going to shut down factories, they are going to fly less, they are going to drive less, and you're going to have demand destruction taking place. So this thing has disproportionately impacted China and India, Japan, the Philippines, Indonesia, and those are very populous countries. The Americans also are, you know, America is addicted to their cars, right? America has the most cars in the world. And they're about, you know, summer is upon us. Summer is about 2 or 3 months away. And that is when there's a spike in demand for gasoline in the United States because, I mean, anybody who's been in the US during the months of July and August know that they drive from state to state, they go to the national parks, they go to the beaches and so on. So that could put additional strain too on the price. So it is all interconnected. We are not isolated, it affects us. From a revenue point of view, yes, we will earn more from the crude oil that we sell. Yes, we will earn more from the liquefied natural gas we sell. There's also been an impact on ammonia prices, and Trinidad is a big exporter of ammonia. So ammonia prices are now in excess of $700 a barrel. Prior to the war, it was somewhere in the region of $500 odd a barrel, about $550 around there. So ammonia prices have gone up because, again, the Middle East is also a producer of fertilizers and so on. There's also an impact. The Middle East is also, those refineries in the Middle East produce sulfur. Sulfur is a major input in pharmaceuticals and in other, you know, in other industrial processes and so on. So the price of pharmaceuticals are impacted. So these wars are never good for the global economy. War is not good in general, I mean, but it is good for us to understand all these ripple effects.
And you're speaking to major disruptions. And while all that is happening on the local front, I believe on the 12th, earlier this week, we would have seen that Shell Trinidad and Tobago conducted a massive haul there in Guayari, much to the interest of the villagers. Everybody was out with their cell phone taping this massive piece of equipment, just doing a slow snail crawl, heading to its location, and I guess it's all part of the Manatee project. What exactly is this piece of equipment? What is this?
So unbeknownst to most Trinidad and Tobago citizens, there are significant gas processing facilities in a place called Beachfield in Guayari. And Beachfield is close to the sea, and it's where the gas which comes in from the Columbus Basin, which is our south and southeastern side of our coast. And that's where about 85% of our gas makes landfall in Guayari. There are what we call 3 slug catchers. And they are really gas processing facilities. But in the industry, we use a very interesting term, slug catcher. And what is a slug catcher or a gas processing facility? It's where the gas, when it arrives onshore, is treated to remove condensate, which is a light hydrocarbon liquid, to remove any natural gas, to remove water and so on, before the gas is sent to its customers, either to Atlantic LNG or to NGC. In Guayari at Beachfield, there are 3 operational slug catchers, one operated by NGC, one operated by BP, and one operated by Shell. So to facilitate the Manatee project, with the Shell slug catcher in Guayari has to be expanded because there's a lot more gas coming down into the slug catcher. The slug catcher was originally designed for, I think, about 450 million cubic feet of gas per day. It now has to be redesigned and expanded to accommodate Manatee, to take it up to a capacity of around 1 billion cubic feet of gas per day, or probably more now. So that is what this is about. So the Manatee project has 3 parts. One is the drilling of wells to produce the gas, which hasn't started yet. The second aspect of the project would be actually there are 4 aspects. One is the drilling of wells. 2 is the pipeline aspect, which is the running of the pipeline from those wells to Guayari. The third one is the construction of the platform. And the platform is being constructed for those who drive past Labre, who drive past, if you're talking about South and the 100 steps. Well, in Labre, the part of the Manatee platform is being constructed. It's huge. It's probably the biggest structure ever constructed in Trinidad and Tobago. I had the honor of seeing it a few months ago. And of course, the fourth part. So the first part is the wells, the second part is the pipeline, the third part is the platform, the fourth part is the expansion of that facility in Guayari, which is what those residents were filming there. That is one of the vessels that would be used in the expansion. I think that's a separator that we saw on the road. You know,
speaking on that development, and I know it's a separate issue and you can't really solve it per se, but I sometimes wonder, and if we could go back to the footage, Sheldon, this piece of equipment heading to Guaya, massive piece of equipment being transported, and the road obviously feeling the brunt of this particular operation. And we have seen time and time again, Rio Claro, Guayari, Mayaro, these places, the road conditions based on the kind of equipment to, again, these areas bring in lots to the country. And I wonder why these multinationals, if there's any way we could get some of these multinationals to put something in the coffers so we could ensure the road is maintained and the people there who live in the space, you know, I mean, we know the conditions of these areas.
Right. So, I go down to that part of the country from probably once a month and so on. So there was some road improvement in the area, specifically after you pass Frontin, what they call Frontin Drive, which is the area with all the fancy houses and so on. In Guaya, there was a major landslip and that was repaired. So I think if that was not repaired, that something like what we just saw there could not, you know, that type of equipment would not be able to pass it. There's also the Galiota port in that part of the country now. So not everything has to be trucked from Chagaramas down to Guaya. You could bring in some things into the port of Galiota.
Excellent.
But still you have to drive it, I would agree, from Galiota to Guayari. So the road network down there, and the point you make is very important. And, you know, we should really have a highway connecting San Fernando to Mayaro, right? And then a major trunk road connecting Mayaro to Guayari, because that's where 85% of the gas in the country is making landfall and is being processed and so on. But I mean, Shell has done very well to manage the logistics of taking those heavy pieces of equipment on the roads safely and securely. And I think Manatee, the Slugcatcher expansion is on track. Well, Manatee is, of course, very important to our economy. It is going to provide significant amount of gas. The figures I have seen range from, on Shell's website, I saw 604 million cubic feet of gas per day, which is about 20 to 25% of what we currently produce as a country.
Excellent.
So if you think about that, that's a big number, right? 20 to 25% of what we currently produce is going to be added. So that's a significant project, and you know, we wish Shell and its contractors and the Ministry of Energy and so on all the best with implementing that, and we expect first gas in 2027.
All right.
And there are a few other projects, ginger and coconut, which BP and EOG are bringing into production next year. So we should see improvement in natural gas production, I would think, by late 2027 into 2028. And that augurs well for our economy, because we've been struggling with natural gas production for some time. Well, so the unknown, of course, JW, is the price. Because if this war in the Middle East was to end tomorrow, I would expect a significant fall in prices pretty quickly. Because the world is oversupplied with oil and natural gas. Prior to the war, the world was oversupplied. And a lot of that oversupply is being driven from countries right around us. Interestingly, that oversupply is being driven by our friends in Guyana and their 920,000 barrels of oil per day production. Brazil, 4 million barrels of oil per day. Argentina, a significant producer of oil again. And of course, the great US shale industry, which is doing somewhere around 14 million barrels of oil per day. So if the war was to end tomorrow or the week after, and the war will end, I expect oil prices to come back into that low 60s range that we had, or even go lower than that.
Well, I can safely say
that's a great variable over which we have no control. I don't like to predict the future, but
yeah,
you could make an educated guess.
And that's why I guess it's always important to have these conversations to keep us in the loop. And until the next one, I want to thank you as always.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure.
Kevin have a good day.
Yeah, same to you. Kevin Ramnarine, touching base there, attorney at law and energy expert, giving us that deeper perspective as to what's happening right around us and obviously further afield. We take the pause and we come back. Up next, we get into conversation regarding the Oral Tradition Roots Foundation.
Get a loan at Bremont. The process is simple. Fast and efficient approvals. Receive funds within 24 hours once approved. And no penalty for early repayment. Located at 4 Gallo Street, Woodbrook. Remember, we like to lend.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
Embrace life with Guardian Life.
Every sunrise brings a new beginning, a quiet promise that we're never truly alone in life's journey.
This town isn't as safe as it used to be. You remember that laundromat that burnt down? We offered protection, but they refused.
So you're telling me that if I pay you, you'll protect me from... Gentlemen, I think you've been watching too many cheap American soaps.
Westwood Park, Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. only on CNC3.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Interesting development is taking place, and to bring some perspective and clarity, we welcome Mtima Solwazi, founder of the Oral Tradition Roots Foundation, and is to treat with the non-profit organizations and some of them facing cancellation. Mtima, I want to thank you for the time, and I look forward to our discussion this morning.
Yes, good morning, thank you for having me.
Mtima, is this a compliance issue? Because I would imagine every non-profit should know that they have to submit certain paperwork, certain fees by a particular time. There must be a level of transparency. I'm trying to figure out how it got to this. If you could give us some clarity.
Right. So the picture you all had up earlier to introduce this segment, right? It's a notice of intended suspension and cancellation. Now, when you look at that, so let me answer the question first. Yes, all of us have compliance to follow, right? When you look at this notice, you are seeing Section 21C of the Non-Profit Organizations Act, number 7 of 2019, and failure to file annual return. Now, therein lies the challenge. All they had to do is include failure to file annual return form 6, because every NGO will have to file an annual return, which people do. It is filed on the anniversary date of your establishment, when you establish your organization. Now, what the government did in October 2024, they introduced Form 6, right? And operating on route, and I don't want people to feel that NGOs not being compliant. Most of us, if not all of us, are being compliant. So people will be filing the Form 29 as usual, unaware that they had to file the Form 6 along with the Form 29. This notice came up. I got an email on Monday saying I have 2 weeks to file my Form 6 or else will be struck off the system. I contacted my accountant. I said, what's going on here? He said, no, we already filed. Because when you file the Form 29 is filed online, they would usually send you an email saying your annual returns have been filed. All we are asking for in the NPO sector is to have some more communication with us, because you cannot tell me, Jason, over 3,000 NGOs in Trinidad and Tobago didn't know what they had to do. And from the time you are seeing people filing their Form 29 and not filing their Form 6, that should raise some red flags and send out proper communication, not 2 weeks for over 3,000 NPOs to file, least they get struck off the system.
So let me ask, for those looking on, could you explain what information is required via the Form 29 and what's required via the Form 6? Because again, there are many who do not know the inner workings of NGOs, of non-profit organizations, and I know lots of resources that's given to some of these NGOs are from indeed government. So I guess they want to ensure that there is transparency and full accountability with taxpayers' money.
Yes, and it's fair enough. So the Form 29 is actually the annual returns for a non-profit company incorporated. So when you are setting up a non-profit, you will go through the registration which was called an NGO, right? It would have been incorporated. So most of us, if not all of us, would have been incorporated. Then the NPO Act came out in 2019, and all of us now had to re-register as an NPO. Now, the annual returns, you have the name of your company, registration address, date, information on your corporate tax file number, your national insurance system, if you have the anniversary date, list of your directors, right? So basically, that is the annual return for the incorporation of a non-profit.
That's the 29.
The NPO, that's the Form 29.
Right.
The Form 6 will have similar information, but the Form 6 falls under Section 21C for the non-profit. So that is the Non-Profit Act now of 2019. The first one was the Incorporation Act, and in 1995 was that act, right? Form 29. This now is the new one, the non-profit, which came into effect in 2019, but Form 6 came into effect in October 2024. Similar information, name of company, number, address, date of registration, your controllers, your directors. The only difference with this form, they're asking for your beneficiaries, right? So let's say for a sporting body, football, your beneficiaries will be youth, young footballers, or the case may be your footballers, right? A religious organization, your beneficiaries will be your parishioners, your members, right? So that's the only difference in the Form 6. But the thing is, when this came out, I was confused, and it's over 3,000, Jason, and you call an NGO that you are familiar with, they on the list to get struck out, right? The challenge we have is that, really, this should have been communicated to us clearer.
Okay.
Right?
So it's really a communication issue?
Well, listen, yes. And it's a lot more to it. It's how the civil society sector is viewed, not just by government, but by private sector, right? Jason, listen. I spoke to a colleague yesterday, and he told me to empty man. Civil society is about doing good work for the people and for pushing for change that is needed for better, right? The challenges over the years, which is not a problem, there's a lot of governance and regulations that have been applied to the NPO sector, which is good. But here what that causes now, the reality now is that the purpose of civil society gets lost in governance, administration, and survival versus advocating for change, which is our initial purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
No, Timo, I wonder if some of this bureaucracy is based on people probably dropping the ball and using NGOs as a cover for personal gain. And I guess they're trying to kind of weed out the bad actors within the space.
Probably yes and no, but the thing is, when I saw this notice, I went through, Jason, I will send you the link to go through that list. You will be surprised. I started to contact NGOs that I know. And the first response was, this does not apply to us because we already filed our annual return. All they had to say, not Form 29, Form 6. That is all, Jason. That is all, Nathan.
Yeah.
And that would have solved, Jason, you cannot tell me your entire class failed an exam. That is on you, not your class.
Yeah.
Let's be real, Jason.
Yeah. And when we consider NGOs, right? When we consider NGOs, so like obviously Roots Foundation, is Arrival live on some of these? Give me some brand name NGOs we're talking about. Is Arrival live on others inside that conversation?
No, hello, you name an NGO. No, it's public information, so you could go on the website and check it out. Anybody in the public could check it out. And I'll just share an NGO that is close to all of us. Jason, I saw all of 72 police youth clubs earmarked to be struck off. I called Shabodi the night. I said, Shabodi, you know about this? He said, no, what is this? I said, hold on. Let me go through the list. And I got 72. So why are you trying to struck out 72 police youth clubs? Let's be real.
Yeah, that is counterproductive because the police youth club, they provide, I mean, I was part of the police youth club and I can tell you, it gives a nice avenue, a tremendous avenue for the young people.
You know, and as I say, for an NGO, you know, whether you're serving all, whether you're living in the water, whether you feel good, you name an NGO on the list. And a lot of these NGOs, well, all. Hello, you have the faith-based organizations on the list. Hello, what is Allah, Jesus, Rastafari, Hindu, you name it on the list. Sporting bodies. So
how could we, as we need to wrap things up, how could the NGOs solve this? I guess it's just to follow the form. What is there a deadline? Once you do it, put in a certain time frame.
Right. So
all as well?
Now, you have before the 27th of April to file.
That just now?
Right? Yes. That's the challenge. The 27th of April. If you don't file by that date, your NGO will be suspended for 30 days until the 27th of May. And on the 28th of May, it will be struck off. Now, all NGOs have to do, get the Form 6. It's not a difficult form to complete, right? And the thing is, this is why we are ready to we comply. Just make the information clearer, you know? The registry needs to communicate clearer with the NGOs.
Yeah.
Because we comply, Jason. Root Foundation comply. And I know, as I said, everyone I spoke to, Entima, we already filed. I said, no, not Form 29, Form 6. Next question. What is Form 6? Come the man, Jason.
Well, Entima, I'm happy.
3,000 NPOs can be asking, what is Form 6?
Well, I'm happy the information is now out, and I'm hoping the NGOs who might be, going through some issues, they're able to get some clarity. How can they contact you, Entima, if people want to continue this conversation?
Oh, well, you could contact me at 479-4510, or check us on Root Foundation on our social media, because I've been pushing this since Monday.
Excellent.
Now the NGOs posting on our social media pages, right?
Excellent.
Because this is serious, Jason. We cannot lose a vital body such as the NPOs.
Of course.
You know, we do human service in this country.
No, definitely. And that's why we ensure we get the information out. Entima, keep us posted. Keep us posted as we get closer to the deadline date. All the best, Entima.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jason.
You're most welcome.
Nice having you back.
Yes, man, great to be back in the seat. And let me tell you, that's an important conversation. And again, this speaks to all the NGOs, the non-profit organizations that continue to do great work in the community. It's a compliance issue, a lack of communication issue also, but we want folks to align themselves, fill out that Form 6, and keep your organization going so you could continue the great work that you have done over the years. Let's take that final pause before the 7 a.m. news update. Some information, some housekeeping after these. See you soon.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Your future is safe with us. No matter your age or where you're from or what doors are open. To each and every one, your financial needs are sure to be met. At Police Credit Union, there's zero regrets. A variety of services that's accessible and reliable. Here to show you just what service is. Helping where we can, but with a smile. So grow with us today. We can do this together. We can secure the future. We can secure the future.
Police Credit Union. Your future is safe with us.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
Welcome back. Let's remind you ways you can contact us. It's a really simple process. You're sending a very short email to this email address, tmb@cnc3.co.tt. We don't want no long thesis, no essay. Don't do that. To the point, simple, concise, and we'll make the connection. And you can join me on the couch or via the Zoom line or even a phone like Entima did just now. Let's move across to our social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, X, very active. Lots of news, lots of information. And another place to stay on top of what's happening is the CNC3 mobile app. a must-have on your smartphone, your number one source for verified breaking news, content, and programming details. Let's move across to the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. The Guardian of Democracy. Out here for what? 108 years? Oh, come on. That's legacy right there. And we continue to adjust. We are agile. We have taken the Guardian now to the laptop, the tablet, the mobile phone. You can visit guardian.co.tt for your digital Guardian subscription. Get it today. Let's head across to our food for thought. Words to inspire on this Wednesday morning. Your attitude, not your aptitude, will determine your altitude. Your attitude, the way you conduct yourself, your spirit, your aura, not your aptitude, right, will determine your altitude, how far you go, the levels you get to. Very important words of advice moving into the 7 o'clock hour. Let's hear what's happening via the weather. I know I'm looking kind of tan. The Jamaica sun different, you know. I feel it's a bit hotter than what we face here in Trinidad, but as it pertains to here at home, today is expected to be sunny and hazy with the occasional shower in a few areas. There's also the medium chance of there's the heavy shower during the afternoon period. Now there is going to be a moderate concentration of Saharan dust, and that's going to be in the atmosphere, so sensitive persons are advised to take all necessary precautions. Seas are moderate with waves 1.5 to 2 meters in open waters and below 1 meter in sheltered areas. The forecast high is 31 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 30 degrees Celsius in Tobago. Up next, your 7 a.m. news update. See you after 7.
Struggling with picky eating, or unexplained loss of appetite, or tired of trying to gain weight with no results? Apetamin is here to help. This powerful appetite stimulant encourages healthier eating, supports weight gain, and improves BMI, perfect for both adults and children. Only Apetamin contains lysine, an essential amino acid that boosts appetite, builds muscle, supports growth, and aids calcium absorption. Take control of your appetite and reach your weight gain goals with Apetamin. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Make sure you have yourself a great invest week by viewing The Boss Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Boss Report. CNC3, covering your world.
Time check, brought to you by the Central Bank and the National Financial Literacy Program.
A very good morning, I'm Akash Samaru with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC radio network. Police Commissioner Alistair Gavaru is urging the public to come forward with information as investigations continue into allegations that a San Francisco woman and her son falsely imprisoned a Barrackpore woman after promising her a job. A special team has been assigned by the Commissioner to the bizarre case. A source said police returned to a chicken farm in Penal on Monday night, one of 3 locations linked to the suspects. Speaking with CNC3 News, Vice President of the Red Cross Society, Edward Moody, said the victim and her family are traumatized and need state protection. Deputy Commissioner Joanne Archie confirmed that both suspects remain in custody without charge as the investigations continue. Sabita was rescued from confinement on Saturday night after Commissioner Gavaru executed a manhunt for the accused mother and son. Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers at 800-TIPS. Culture Minister Michelle Benjamin reveals that singers who performed for the Flavor Village were paid between $1,500 and $40,000. The cultural and culinary hub established for the carnival season at the Queen's Park Savannah for 52 days cost the state $16 million. Yesterday in the Senate, the Culture Minister was asked for the names of all artists and performers engaged by the state and the amounts they were paid. Benjamin said that each individual payment would be submitted in writing. However, CNC3 News is yet to be provided with that document. However, she did give general ranges for each category of performer.
Live bands were engaged at rates ranging from $20,000 to $60,000. Steel pans were similarly engaged from rates engaging 12,000 to 60,000. Calypso, soca, chutney, rapso artists performing without a live band were engaged respective rates 1,500 to 40,000.
And the jet ski owners in Tobago are in damage control mode as they face the real possibility of their industry being shut down following a deadly accident. At an emergency meeting in Calder Hall on Monday night, jet ski and reef boat owners agreed that cleaning up their image is critical to survival. However, they are urging authorities to reconsider the ban on the use of jet skis at Buku, which they said is integral to operations. Well, those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC radio network.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Welcome back. It's been quite a while since we had a chance to touch base, so let's treat with that immediately. The lines are open. It's open forum time. Again, was for those who, normally I would actually, inform the audience because, we have that particular connection. And I think looking back, I do think I did mention I was going to be out for a bit, but nonetheless, I will treat with that next time. Any long stint again, I'll definitely keep everyone in the loop. St. James, good morning.
JW.
Morning, bro.
What's your vibes, bro?
Yeah, man, good to be back, man. Good to be back.
For sure. You're back in the seats. I see Keisha and him, so that definitely hold it down for you. And as you said, come back from Jamaica.
Yes. I mean, much love to Keisha and a consummate professional, man. That's one of my real good colleagues in the business. Mm-hmm.
Your real brethren, for sure. Mm-hmm. You're definitely looking like a vacation, bro, and that's a good thing. As we would have said, you work hard, bro, and you definitely deserve the vacation you would have enjoyed and will enjoy in the future. And that is the standard for all of us.
But honestly, St. James, only really Monday I had a chance to relax. When I got there last Tuesday, it was straight to the mass camp because I invested in a Juve. So I was in the mass camp. I had an event Wednesday, Thursday I had 2 events. Friday, mass camp again, into Juve, into event on Saturday. Then on the road whole Sunday. So, bro, trust me. You see a boy, you see the ball head? You saw the ball head? Tana?
Yeah, so you was working still?
Yeah, I went out to work, actually. Went out to work for the carnival. Yeah.
Well, all right, Bertrand. We understand. I mean, you're serving us for sure, and we appreciate it, bro. That's why we need to make sure you good. So what you need, I think what you need some Fiji water. Actually, not Fiji water. You need some coconut water and some watermelon. So I assure the team, the gracious team could provide some coconat water for you, fresh out of the nut, and also some watermelon for you to revitalize and regenerate you.
For sure, man.
So, brethren, I mean, we just calling. We happy you're back. I mean, everybody could hold it down for you, and it's all love to the entire team. Yeah. But Morning Brew is JW for sure, and we appreciate that. And as I close JW, I want to share a story with you that was on my mind for the longest while. I know you used to be on radio, and it's at that time back in, I think maybe what year it was, boy? Maybe 2021, 2022, when I was sending out resumes and looking for employment. This was back in the day. Thankfully now, I'm in a good situation. Thankfully, give thanks. Right? But you was on the radio and I used to listen to you and a co-host of yours, and that positivity. So long story short, for sure keep providing us the positive energy and definitely ensuring that we move forward as a country. Some of the concepts we need to eradicate, definitely. Eradicate, because they weren't the right concepts, but we need to come correct and move forward. And definitely, we have the potential, as you say. We have the potential. We have the opportunities. So there's no excuses, for sure. So blessings, bro. Thank you so much for the opportunity to contribute and keep up the positive vibes.
Thanks a lot, St. James, man. Always bringing added value. A really positive individual. And that's how you look at it, It's either the glass half empty or half full. And for St. James, it's always half full. Let's head to Digger Martin. Ms. Digger Martin, it's been a minute. Good morning.
Good morning, JW. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Digger Martin.
Welcome back. Where you went to? Here is in Juve.
No, Jamaica. Went up north.
You in Jamaica?
Yeah,
Jamaica, nice. Very good. Glad you enjoyed it and you came back safely.
Yes.
JW, I just want to say to the TTPS, a job well done, the TTPS in the West, for that robbery that took place in Super Farm there in West Mall yesterday, when those two bandits snatched that lady's handbag. On our neighborhood chat, I'm seeing where they said they caught them. So I'm saying to the TTPS, keep up the good work. Well done. Imagine, JW, they robbing ship. I heard on the news they robbed 3 crewmen of a ship on Dock Road, Port of Spain. What the hell going on? Anyway, TTPS, keep up the good job.
Yeah,
have a blessed morning, JW.
Have a blessed morning, indeed. I don't know. I don't understand it, robbing dockmen by foreigners. Let's head to Digger Martin again. Another call from Digger Martin. Good morning.
Right. Yes. Welcome back. I hope you enjoy yourself and your wine and dime and your pushback. I want to push back at the headlines I'm seeing on the newspaper. Terrorism and Muslim people organization saying, okay, it might be discrimination. Let us recall history. 1990, what happened? 114 of them were freed, right? The attempted coup. Those set up people, the 114, where they are now, who was in government and who was in opposition, juxtapose that with Sopo and all the matches, all the matching all over the ED and his nurses and the tutor, which we know is a PNM political group, and the rest of the thing. I want to say some of the leaders of those organizations, I wouldn't call name, were on an American terrorist watch list. We have to understand, I believe there's inserted political parties inserting themselves to cause unnecessary unrest in this country. Remember, that same organization, the 141, his father and his son was basically on the doorstep of replacing Port of Spain South. They were actually screened by a political party. That is how conscious, and people have to understand what is happening. It is nothing. The government seeing something, they publish here, just like the Americans telling them, oh, watch out, watch out. Remember, it had a political issue two years ago where a government minister was implicated with a financier in the UK. We got information and they tip off the minister and he went and changed his allegiance with some kind of company. This is not what we want. We want the authority to act right away. I go on, Jason. Very, very concerned about that. Bye.
All right, they go. Yeah. I mean, I heard of, well, at least in terms of the last point, what was raised in Parliament. I believe if someone is with solid evidence, they stand on the evidence, they stand on the words, they could say it outside of Parliament. Parliament is a place where one is protected. And obviously, I don't know, I'd kind of plug out there, to be quite honest, but as I kind of plug back in, I'm getting up to speed with what would have transpired in the last couple of days. And boy, never a dull moment, Digger Martin. And of course, well, Faizabad is on the line. I'm sure you could agree, Faizo, never a dull moment in Trinidad and Tobago,
Never a dull moment, Brother Jason. Welcome back.
Thank you, Brother Faizo. I'm listening, man.
Jason, I want to touch a little bit on this curriculum affair. Yes? And so CARICOM has never been a unified body. I mean, we only fooling ourselves when we say that. Because I remember Dr. Rowley, I think he was having to fly up to Jamaica to patch up a little thing. Then you had Dr. Rowley telling, in a very disparaging way, Mr. Charles to go Guyana and live if you don't like it. And then we had the monopoly money issue. And so what I'm not getting anything definitive on is that the request from our Prime Minister with respect to the correspondences that would have taken place via the Secretariat.
But you see, let me ask you, Faisal, and I understand what you're saying, but let's be real. Do you think the Secretariat will really, because I think the grouse obviously is when the current Prime Minister was in the opposition, she sent the correspondence and there was no response. You really think the Secretariat will answer anyone from any part of the region who's in opposition? Be honest here.
Okay.
No, I'm saying that they probably should, but do you think they would?
But I don't know, and so far they are not doing it. But the point I am making, even when she was in opposition, she would have requested certain information. As Prime Minister, when she went to the summit and she made mention of the Brent Thomas issue again, yes? And she is saying, and she referred to the situation in Guyana that was developing via Venezuela. Yes? And so, when, I think it's Dr. Carla Barnett as well, who did the introduction to the newly elected prime ministers of the region that would have recently won election last year and the year before, she omitted to mention the Honorable Prime Minister Kamala Prasad.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people don't play in that. And that's a very important thing to be slighted at a summit.
Yeah, I mean, Faisal, it's a real unfortunate scenario. I think a lot of egos are at play, and I think what we need to do is obviously, you know, I guess stand our ground, but at the same time be mindful that if there's any fallout, our manufacturers, the private sectors will feel it, you know, the most, you know.
And so what I am saying, while I agree with you, but there might be opening of new doors, it might be forcing people to think openly and widely. But far and beyond that, there's another meeting at the CARICOM heads somewhere around July. Yes?
Yeah.
How come that we didn't see it fit to put it on the agenda or probably have it done before the expiration date in August?
Interesting.
These are questions must be asked.
Yeah.
I don't know why people are not following. The CARICOM is a very hypocritical organization. It is. I mean, we're 70 years into the thing. We're not here yesterday or the day before.
I mean, any relationship, especially with dealing with leaders from a region with so many different interests, you'll have your pulling and tugging. You know that's how it is. But I think we are putting ourselves. Cause let me tell you, Faisal, I jump in a taxi there in Jamaica, and I haven't to answer questions. These taxi men and the folks in Jamaica, they are quite aware what's happening, and they're asking me, Trini, what going? What happened to you? You know, and I having to kind of explain myself and say, no, God, all is not so. Calm all yourself. Faisal, is he gone? Oh God, like Faisal gone. We take one more. Faisal, we'll continue tomorrow. Don't worry yourself. We'll continue. We take one more call. Puna, good morning. Puna? Let's get Puna in now. Puna probably gone. But yeah, Faisal, but I haven't to answer questions, Faisal. I see, but because they hear the accent, they want to know what's going on. So lots of what we're doing, people are paying attention. You know, the echoes are very much quite loud throughout the region, and obviously people not knowing the full details. Obviously, they don't know some of the intimate details, so I have to kind of explain, kind of be on the defensive mode, really. I just hope it doesn't escalate into any kind of major fallout, because we do $1.1 billion in trade with CARICOM. We're talking here from Jamaica, our biggest market up north, to Barbados, to St. Lucia, Grenada. Go to any one of the supermarkets there and you're seeing our products on the shelf. You know, our manufacturers, they do well. As a matter of fact, I think in Jamaica there's a plant in Portmore dealing with snacks and stuff. A Trinidad-based company, you know, with its headquarters right there in what do you call it, Socorro, Barataria. So we have done well when it comes to business and the private sector. And I just don't want any kind of fallout to any boycott, really. Because we have seen it in the past, threats of boycott. But if they really go down that road, it will be a kind of most unfortunate development. But we'll put a pin, we'll stick a pin on that for now. We'll continue with that discussion tomorrow. Let's head across to Tobago Talks. When Tobago Talk, we listen. A very important conversation ahead. Stand by.
Introducing CTS College's Early Learners Academy, our physical school with a nursery, daycare, and preschool. With qualified and experienced staff, modern classrooms, and the latest teaching methods and technology, your child would get the personal care and education they deserve. Activities include potty training, storytelling, phonics, craft, academics, and field trips. Enroll your child today at CTS College's Early Learners Academy.
Looking for a smart way to grow your savings? For just a limited time, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Credit Union is offering competitive fixed deposit rates of up to 4%. That's up to 4% guaranteed when you invest with PCU Fixed Deposit. Visit any of our locations in Barataria, Arima, San Fernando, or Tobago to get started today. For more details, visit policecreditunion.com or call us at 6124-PCU. PCU. Your future is safe with us.
The gripping crime series Suspects comes to your screen. New episodes, new cases, from murders to missing persons, drug overdoses, and sex crimes. Raw, real, riveting. Suspects takes you inside the Metropolitan Police as they fight for justice in London. Don't miss Suspects, only on CNC3.
Through every storm and every sunrise, a familiar face and a trusted voice returns to your forecast.
This is where it all began. Good afternoon, Sidoni. Welcome home.
Stronger, sharper, ready to serve you again.
30 minutes, the news.
Because when it comes to your weather,
I'm Sigoni Mohammed with your CNC3 weather forecast. It's good to be home.
Listen every Wednesday, Tobago Talks, and when Tobago Talk, we listen. We welcome to the program this morning the chairman candidate for the PNM Tobago Council election, Nicole Henry, someone described as a consummate professional, someone who has dedicated many years to education, someone with, from what I'm seeing here, organization skills, and I could only imagine you will be bringing all that to the table if given the opportunity. Nicole, good morning to you and welcome.
President, good morning to you, Mr. Williams, and the members of the CNC3 team and the wider web, World Wide Web and media of Trinidad and Tobago. A hearty good morning to everyone.
If given the opportunity, Nicole, what are you going to do immediately to help rebuild PNM's its presence really in Tobago? Because we would have seen via the last THA election a total annihilation, obviously a shifting in the political mindset there, and I'm sure lots of work needs to be done, and it will be done, but nonetheless, where do you start if given that opportunity?
Well, P for people, as in People's National Movement. So I'm going to start with my people. I'm going to go down to the ground. I'm going to revitalize the party groups. I'm going to give them a reason to want to love the PNM again. I have a passion for serving. and that passion would be transmitted into every party group, every home, every heart, every individual, every life that I will touch.
Indeed. What's the campaign like so far? What's the feedback you're getting? I know you're obviously, as you said,
the campaign is going great. I am getting great feedback. As you know, I have been an educator through the Tobago space for 31 years. I am young, but I've been in education a while, and I would have touched several lives. Persons I know, persons I don't know. I don't have to know you to serve you. I am a servant leader, and I am very transformative and transparent with whatever I do. I love people and I love helping. So many of the times, my volunteerism would get me into that space where I can interact with all walks and all types of people. So offering myself as chairman was easy because the people know me and they know me well.
Let me ask Ms. Henry, how do you distinguish yourself and the Tobago, I would say, ideology, seeing that PNM's headquarters and many of the instructions come from Port of Spain, and we're seeing in Tobago this move towards a more indigenous, a more Tobago-centric style of governance and personalities within this governance space?
Well, the first thing that we need to understand, in 1998, our stalwarts like Neil Wilson, Stanford Calendar, and Orville London would have made viable representation for us, along with others, to make the Tobago Council an autonomous body. We are in line with Trinidad, but sometimes we have to report some of the things that we're doing to the General Council to get their blessing. But we are really in charge of our own affairs, and as that is our parent body, we collaborate and we work along with them because the People's National Movement is a national party.
Understood. Nicole, what's the role and function ultimately of the chairman? What are some of the responsibilities? What your day will look like once given the opportunity?
Well, the role of the chairman is really to collaborate, to make that cohesion, to bring that love, to bring unity together. My role is really a legislative role, while the political leader role is an executive role. So I will deal with the laws and the structure of the party. That's why one of my mandates is to ensure that we have structure, because we have fallen away a little bit from the structure. So we have to re-engineer, restore, reignite that structure in such a way that we would be able to put policies back in place and use the laws and the regulations of the party to manage the affairs of the party.
Understood. Nicole, in real time, if you could tell me, is the campaign, the mood of the campaign one that's respectful? What's the general?
Very respectful.
Okay.
Because we all understand that it's one PNM, one voice, one movement, one hymn book. We have a common goal and a common entity, and that goal is to make the PNM great again and to ensure that we put the PNM back into good governance. When the PNM is out of power, as the late Eric Williams said, it's only chaos and confusion. And if you look at the political space, both in Trinidad and Tobago, you can see the mayhem that is being happening and being created. And the only persons and the only individuals that I believe could restore that confidence in the hands of our populace is the People's National Movement.
Ms. Henry, let me ask, as it pertains to continuity, are you seeing young, fresh faces coming into the space looking to be mentored? What's happening with the next generation there in Tobago?
We are seeing young persons offering themselves. We are seeing mature persons. We are seeing elderly. We are willing, or I am willing, because I'm an individual candidate, but I know all my colleagues, all who have offered themselves, they are all willing to work collaboratively and to groom, to mentor, to coach, to ensure that the individuals that are offering themselves would get the right skills, the right capabilities, the knowledge that they need to function.
Yeah. You're 30 years plus in education as an educator. What from that particular experience you can bring to this role if given the opportunity?
Well, I can tell you, I have been 20 years as an administrator. 20 years as an administrator and 10 years as a classroom teacher. So I've been in administration for a very long time. And one thing that I can offer you is organizational skills. One thing I can offer you is support. One thing I can offer is resourcefulness, because I would have made a cadre of friends that are willing to work along with us and come on board. And once you have that kind of backing, there is no doubt in my mind that we can make the PNM great again. I offer Nicole Henry. I offer everything that comes with me in that People's National Movement organization and space. I am excited, I am passionate, and I know that I will do well with the support of our team. I know the team will do well, whoever is selected, because we have a cadre of well-experienced individuals offering themselves.
Nicole Henry, before we wrap things up, your take on Tobago autonomy. I know that's a major discussion in the public domain. Just your personal take on that conversation.
My personal take is the time is now. We are ready for our autonomy. So as the present regime promised, bring the autonomy on so that Tobagonians would be able to make decisions for themselves, govern themselves, make laws and regulations that will improve the livelihood of each and every Tobagonian in the Tobago space.
As we wrap things up, Nicole Henry, a final chance for you to speak directly to those who are able to vote come election day as to your particular push towards being the chairman, or why Nicole Henry should be the chosen candidate.
Why Nicole Henry? Nicole Henry is a servant leader, transformational, accountable, and a person full of integrity and trustworthiness. And I can assure them that we would ensure that the Tobago Council and all the party groups will work again under my stewardship.
Nicole Henry, all the best. Thanks for touching base, and we will monitor the elections.
No problem. I just want to say one more thing. To each individual that belongs to the PNM on the 26th of April, go out and vote. Vote Nicole Henry resoundingly for chairman of the Tobago PNM Council. And to everyone, do have a blessed day.
Nicole Henry, all the best. Thanks for touching base. Tobago Talks. As always, every Wednesday, when Tobago Talk, we listen. We take the pause and we come back and get into some karate do. That's right. That's what we're talking about. That is it. That is it. Karate do. A matter of fact, not do. Karate do. See you soon. We come back.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
fact that they ask the questions, those challenging questions that no other media house would ask. So, shed light on those things that are in the dark, those stories that no one else wants to cover.
I grew up reading The Guardian, actually. It's a household name.
About The Guardian, one thing that I like, the human interest stories have increased.
See the investigative pieces on the human trafficking. I find that very interesting.
You go more in depth.
On sports, especially local sports, and that's one of my highlights for The Guardian.
Yeah, I've been in Ghana and The Guardian started coming out, started working. I was a newspaper man.
The stories that are being covered are well detailed and you get more facts.
Also, I think the editorials, I think they're doing a good job and they're speaking the truth and, they're challenging the government to make things better.
Me in particular, of recently, the last 2-3 months, I've been reading The Guardian. I'm seeing a lot of news about the neighborhoods and the communities. And I even saw my community featured, and I was proud.
The Guardian.
The Guardian?
Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian. The Guardian is my first choice.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are. Well, for a couple of years under the leadership of Sensei Ian Sammy, we have seen the development of this particular amazing organization. We have to say kudos to Skiff, Trinidad and Tobago, Karate Do, not Karate Do. But you see the name now, you can get a little tie-up and stuff. And I want to welcome some amazing guests with us, Sean Taylor and Gabrielle Hosten, to share with us the great work that's happening and basically bring us into understanding as to what's the next step, any major projects around the corner. Gentlemen, karate, if it's one thing I know, it instills discipline, serious discipline in all those who partake in the art form. Welcome.
Pleasure to be here, Lisa. Thank you, my pleasure.
What's the ages, what's the actual target audience you'll go for?
That's an interesting question. We teach anywhere between 4 years old and to 74. Our oldest student right now is over 70, so it's a wide range. Of course, what we typically would get children, but of late there has been a lot of teenagers, a lot of young people, young adults as well, and then as well as parents and different people from different walks of life, professionals, the works.
Gabriel, I mean, obviously, what does it entail to actually start? Because I would imagine. Because, I mean, every particular discipline you will have to get equipment and stuff. So what it entails to actually start?
To actually start, we usually say something like your hands and feet. Bring yourself, come as you are.
Yeah.
All right? We don't want anyone to feel tied to any way that, if you don't have, that you can't come. All right? Come as you are. We will carry you along the journey. All right? See if this journey is for you as well.
For the parents who, they will have a young one there, lots of energy, very animated, you think this is an avenue that could kind of streamline that energy?
Of course, of course. I have a saying I've been using for a long time now, I call karate the great equalizer, where if you have somebody who's shy, training in karate will bring out that more inner extrovert that's hidden on the inside, right? If you have some child that is hyperactive, it'll help to kind of calm them down, and you're always resetting the balance in a kind of way where you might lack in personality. Karate will find a way, just the experience itself, to bring it back on stream, yeah. And
I want to go back to the discipline aspect, Gabe, because I remember there's some, And we have to be real. There's some folks, they see karate as, well, I don't really want my child there because, it's almost like there's a kind of fighting discipline. But people have to recognize that the folks I know who are very versed in karate, that's actually the last thing they do. They don't fight. They actually walk away. Because I know a karate man could fold you up, wrap you up like a roti skin, and they just walk. Yeah, that's true. So I recognize that discipline seems to be a major component in the art form.
Yes, of course. In fact, the very last line of our dojo is refrain from violent behavior. Right? As much as you train and practice the arts, right, is not to look for fights. Right? Most martial artists may even tell you that the more you learn how to fight and the more you've been in it professionally, you realize you don't want to fight anybody on the outside just like that. You gain a calm demeanor, you learn to de-escalate situations and stuff like that. Right? It's never to look for anything, to look for any kind of scrabble on your outside.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Your stress is, if you have stress, no problem, you come and do it on the floor.
Yeah, of course, yes. And we speak of discipline, we also speak of structure. How important is the structure, and when do you all do the training and instill this kind of structure?
Okay, so our main dojo is in La Jolla. So we train Wednesday and Saturday. Wednesday would be 5:30 in the evening to 7:30. That's 2 classes. And Saturday is 1 class from 12:30 to 2:30. And the structure for karate, well, the name of the style is Shotokan Karate. It's a Japanese art form. And it's structured around the 3 Ks. So it's Kion, Kata, Kumite. Kion is basics, that's the Japanese term for basics. Then Kata is forms or patterns or formal training is what it's translated to. And Kumite is sparring. So they are all interlinked. You can't do karate without doing all 3 at some point in time. And just through that experience alone, you tend to see these skills kind of become transferable into people's, into their daily lives, for example, academics, professionally. All right, so, and even with the youngsters, so like there's a third person who was here. She's a doctor, right? And she had to battle with scoliosis, and she trained, never stopped training. All right, after the surgery, she came through the surgery, finished her medical degree, and has been practicing medicine for, I think it's more or less about 5 years now.
No, that's tremendous.
Yeah, had to deal with the COVID, everything, and she has often said that karate has helped her to push through all those different challenges academically, professionally as well.
I don't really have regrets, but I remember it's something I wanted to do when I was much smaller, and the opportunity never really presented itself.
Right.
I mean, obviously, you said your oldest student is 72, so there's no excuse. I can still fall in, right?
Yeah.
But I've recognized that everyone who is involved in karate, I see a particular calm, as I go back to discipline, I go back to structure, I go back to the humility. You won't know unless you know, and I guess it keeps you going. That level of movement, the fitness, the stretches, I would imagine. For anybody who that might be a concern, they tell themselves, "Well, I really do nothing for a while." With the right commitment, how soon you could kind of get yourself back into a particular form game? I mean, everybody's will vary, but from your observation, from those who kind of come out there rusty and dusty, at what point are we able to kind of get into that rhythm?
I would say that's for me, that's a hard question to answer, because like you said, everybody is different, right? So where somebody might be very rusty, and then let's say we work with them for 2 weeks. By the time the 3rd week, for some reason something click and they just fall back in, right? Some people might take 2 months, right? But it's really the commitment they have to, here's what I'm coming back, I want to do this. Or even if you're starting at old age, you want to do it. It's your journey and how you move along.
Yeah. But I would imagine, and I guess you can answer there, because it's not to say it's a whole year or 2 year process. Once you stay committed, within weeks, within probably a month or 2, you get yourself into that rhythm. And I would imagine there's a sense of community. Walk me through the community that is SCIF Trinidad and Tobago Karate.
That's one of the best things we offer, to be honest, because in-house, when I say in-house, in 868 Trinidad and Tobago, we have, I think it's 4 satellite dojos off the top of my head, and everybody will come together on Saturday in particular. Wednesday and Saturday as well, but mostly on Saturday. Come and train. I have seen lifelong friends made from training. Right, we have a group of very energetic, well, I'm not sure it's accurate to call them teenagers now, because a lot of them are crossing into the 20s now. And 2 years ago, we were in Mexico for the Skiff Pan American Championships, and that is where we really saw the global scope, because you're talking about people from Mexico, you know, you're thinking, the only experience I had in Mexico before was football. And, you know, it's a real warm culture, community, and they didn't look at us as just Trinidad and Tobago, they look at us as just like another armor skiff, and it's really hard to put in words that experience. Very, very unforgettable.
A brotherhood, a sisterhood, a family.
Yeah. Family. And yes, we often use that where the FN Federation is now also family, not as federation. Yeah.
Well said. How do folks contact you all? What's the online information? Let's put it out there.
Right, so we can be found on Instagram. So it would be Skiff, I think it's just Skiff Trinidad and Tobago now. It used to be Kanazawa Group, but we changed the handle. Skiff Trinidad and Tobago on Instagram. It's also the same handle on Facebook. All right. And we can also be reached at 704-1045 as well. Or, you know, if you want a personal touch, you come in on a Wednesday, preferably on a Saturday. That's usually the better day to come in person to inquire at La Jolla at 12:30.
Beautiful central location right in St. Joseph.
Of course.
You can cater for the whole East West and even further afield. In a couple of seconds that remain, any major engagements happening soon?
Oh, of course. This year we have, a 1 mile 4-lap run and walk Sunday coming.
Nice.
But in the grander scheme, we have the World Championships in Turkey, you know, in November, as well as in October, we have our annual international seminar.
Well, keep us posted.
Of course.
Great work, Skiff. And they said the F there is for family. You know, find your community, find your calling, get yourself back into that movement, and find that structure through Karate Do. Karate Do, not never do. Well done, guys, and he loved the entire team from you, man. All the best.
Yeah, man.
For
Pleasure
sure.
to be here.
Respect and manners, man. Good vibes, yes. We're going to take the pause. We come back with our final guest for the evening, well, for the morning. Look at me. I tell you, I still on Jamaica time, don't worry yourself. We get you ready for a big technical conference that's happening at Hyatt Regency. This is an important one. Full details after the break.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have the bill?
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hey, the pool is this way.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
The fact that they ask the questions, those challenging questions that no other media house would ask. So, you know, shed light on those things that are in the dark, those stories that no one else wants to cover.
I grew up reading The Guardian, actually. It's a household name.
About The Guardian, one thing that I like, the human interest stories have increased.
See the investigative pieces on the human trafficking. I find that very interesting.
You go more in depth
on sports, especially local sports, and that's one of my highlights for The Guardian.
Yeah, I've been in Ghana since The Guardian started coming out, started working. I was a newspaper man.
Could the stories that are being covered are well detailed and you get more facts.
Also, I think the editorials, I think they're doing a good job on the speaking in truths, and you know, they're challenging the government to make things better.
Me in particular, of recently, the last 2-3 months, I've been reading The Guardian. I'm seeing a lot of news about the neighborhoods and the communities, and I even saw my community featured, and I was proud.
Oh, The Guardian.
The Guardian?
Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian is my first choice.
Well, I am so happy to treat with this very important conference, APET. They're putting this together, the Association of Professional Engineers of Trinidad and Tobago. It's a technical conference, and it's happening in May, the 12th and the 13th at Hyatt Regency. We want to welcome Kevin Grant, Acting Chairperson, Electrical Division. I want to say, Kevin, congrats to you and the team in advance, because I know this is going to be well subscribed, and I look forward to details as to your target audience and what will be the greatest takeaway, at least from through your lens, for those in attendance. Welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Who are you looking for? Strictly engineers? Anybody else out of the particular arena?
Everybody's welcome. So we're looking at engineers, we're looking at the business community, we're looking at students, right? You would appreciate that engineering plays a major role in all our daily lives. Some are obvious, some are not so obvious. So we want everybody to come out in terms and participate in this conference.
I want you to elaborate some more, because yes, engineers do play an important role, and why does it matter, this particular conference at this point in time?
Well, it is a nice space for engineers to gather, share ideas, exchange thoughts, remain current in topical issues. So I would talk about some of the things in the mainstream now. You hear about AI. How does AI play a part in engineering? We talk about renewable energy and how we could harvest that energy, whether it be sun or wind, to power operations. Students as well, they have the opportunity to meet the peers and probably find a couple of mentors within their discipline where they could learn and grow from. Yeah.
I recognize the theme, a very important one: sustainable, smart, resilient. How does that translate in real life? How does that translate with our daily movements here in our Twin Island state, Trinidad and Tobago?
So let's take the last one, resilient. As you know, Trinidad and Tobago has been kind of fortunate, but we have the natural disaster known as the hurricane, right? How resilient are we to recover from that? Where does engineering play a role in that? Renewable energy, how fast can we get up if the electrical grid is down? Right? Those sort of stuff would be at the forefront. As well, we have a number of presenters, and they are putting forward a number of papers. I won't go into all of them, but 3 of them kind of stand out to me. One presenter, we talk about the sea bridge from Trinidad and Tobago. So he has a paper looking at the feasibility of that, actually building a bridge from Trinidad and Tobago. A physical bridge. A physical bridge.
Because, you know, I'm watching, they're building, I think right now is it China? They're building an underwater kind of tunnel scenario.
Yes.
I'm seeing the engineering marvel of that project.
Exactly.
And I'm saying, you know, I was just thinking on the box, I was saying, well, I don't even know where we're going to start. So from my, just really quick, because we go back to this, from my engineering perspective, if we were to attempt something like that, I guess it would be probably like a Tuco to Crown Point.
Probably,
naturally.
Yeah. And what I like to say, anything is possible engineering-wise, is just basically the cost attached to it.
The resources and the cost, yes.
Yeah. Another paper that I saw that piqued my interest, and I hope it should pique others, we driving through Trinidad and Tobago. Unfortunately, people may be dumping tires. Right? So representative from Kariri is doing a project on the rubber crumb where they are taking those tires, reducing it to crumbs, and then mixing it with the asphalt.
Oh, so you're kind of going back now into the road.
Yes.
And that could help with road rehabilitation.
Right, and that will come into the whole aspect of sustainability and the whole circular economy conversation.
Let me tell you, engineers play such a pivotal role in every society. And I would imagine, you know, the kind of conversations, the kind of networking possibilities. And I'm happy you mentioned students will be there, because for the future engineers, those who are thinking about it, I think this is the best space to be.
Yes, this is where we will sell them on the idea.
Yeah, to be inspired.
Yes.
What you hope will be the greatest takeaway?
I think the greatest takeaway is the sharing of knowledge, number one, for the general public. The engineers and the students to be in a common space, share ideas, share knowledge, and come out better for it, right? Maybe we could get some more engineers joining APET. We could probably get some more people consider engineering as a career if they are at the crossroads and they're not sure where they want to go in the future.
You mentioned AI earlier. How does AI help the engineer, or will AI ever replace the role and function of the engineer?
For me, I would say we have to work with it. It is here to stay, and it is one of the conversations that you would hear coming up is how do you use AI ethically? Mm-hmm. Right? So it does play a role, and it could help in certain aspects of engineering.
In terms of business leaders, I'm sure they will also be in attendance. How could this benefit when it comes to decision making and long-term planning?
Right. So in terms of decision making, let's say, for example, you have a facility that is aged in terms of electrical installation. You may want to consider the aspect of powering certain aspects of your business using renewable energy. And again, we have a couple of presenters that would talk how you could integrate renewable energy solutions into your business.
How can folks register? Because this is a very important talking point. Details, I mean, is there a cost attached, and more so, is there an online component, or does one have to attend in person?
Okay, so basically the website, you could go to atc2026.org. When you go there, it has a nice little counter telling you how much more days, and you can register. We are also on all social media platforms, so that's your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, where you would have the flyers, and there's a QR code there that you could use that to register. In terms of registration, for members, it is $2,500 TT dollars, and for non-members, it is $2,750 TT dollars, or as my president would say, future members.
That's right. That's right.
There are also packages for students, as we know you're going to school, so it won't be the full cost of that. I think it is probably $500 for student members. Don't quote me on that. I could be a little off by a couple $100 or so, but that's the average price. It won't be the full cost for student members.
And it's a 2-day process.
It is a 2-day process. It is packed, right? And registration will go straight up until the morning of the conference, but we hope you register before. I would urge everybody to come out in the space, network with your peers, meet new people, and see what is going on in the world of engineering. As you know, the engineering discipline rapidly changes, and there's an opportunity for us to network and be on the same page, more or less.
The engineers from Trinidad and Tobago, well, I'll ask directly, could they stand up with the very best out there in the world? What's been your experience?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, without a shadow of a doubt.
I had no doubts about that.
There's a concept that foreign is better, and that is not always the case. We could stand toe-to-toe, and in some cases we may excel compared to our counterparts outside of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, because despite, people might have their particular sharp criticisms. I think our engineers and the kind of creativity and what we have seen from our local talent, it's par excellence.
Yeah. What I want to mention as well too, in outside the conference area, we have some booths where people would have showcased their stuff. So people like Kariri, Avicon Engineering Services, just to mention. And of course, I must thank our sponsors, right? That is Nucor Iron and Atlantic LNG. There may be a couple more, but it slips me right now.
They are the core key title people.
And our partners, which are UTT, of course,
yes,
UWI, and the Board of Engineering of Trinidad and Tobago. So I must make mention to them as well.
Now, Kevin, trust me, we are very creative, we are very innovative. There's no doubt about that, and I know this will be a tremendous success. Let's put it up again, APET, bringing this truly tremendous technical conference for business leaders, engineers, students, all and sundry. Show up and be part of it. It's happening in May 12th and 13th at the Hart Regency as we look to build on our capacity and expand and just, keep the conversation alive. And think beyond the outside the box. I like what you say, you never know, we could definitely build a bridge. You hear them thinking, you figure it's so far-fetched, but you never know, it's very possible.
Yes, it is. Anything is possible in engineering.
That's right. Kevin, all the best, and congrats in advance.
All right, thanks for having us here.
You're most welcome. We take the final pause. We come back to wrap things up officially on this Wednesday morning. See you soon.
This season, Ask the Doctor is at a new time. It's your weekly prescription for trusted medical advice. In the Doctor's Capsule, Dr. Tilak Singh breaks down big health topics clearly and simply. Get a dose of smiles in the Kiddies Capsule as our youngest experts share health tips with heart. Explore the science behind the headlines in Medical Minds, featuring real doctors, real insight, and your questions matter. Join the open forum live and get answers straight from the source. Ask the Doctor, every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Through every storm and every sunrise, a familiar face and a trusted voice returns to your forecast.
This is where it all began.
Good afternoon, Sigourney. Welcome home. Welcome home.
Stronger, sharper, ready to serve you again.
30 minutes, the news.
Because when it comes to your weather,
I'm Sigourney Mohammed with your CNC3 weather forecast. It's good to be home.
Really good to be back. I would have mentioned that at the start of the program. Obviously being here, holding the seat, having these conversations every morning, it's something that I hold very, very close and very dear. And naturally, you'll have to make your little moves every now and then. I'll have a particular assignment, but I'm always really happy to know that I have colleagues here who will always step in, and if they ask me to step in for them at any point, I'll do the exact same. It's a real team effort here, and again, sincere thanks to Kijan. I was trying to figure out what to bring back for Kijan, if Kijan is into coffee, if he into, I don't know, but I'll bring back something, I'm not too sure. Teddy bear? All right then, I'll figure it out. All right, Kijan, so sincere thanks, bro, and yes, I'm back in the hot seat. I think my next major jump out might be around probably May, for a couple of days thereabouts. And I'm trying to probably figure out if I'll have any time later on this year for any kind of vacation, but that's not even top of mind right now. We have things to deal with and a country to help uplift. And that's what I do every single day here via the Morning Brew. Have a great one, be safe, and God spare. I'm back for more tomorrow. Great to be back. Later.